Yo, what is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? Guys, we are getting two interesting things today, and one of them being Black Clover. Um, this week we finished the Dream World. Excuse me, just waking up, which is not that good for me. Um, we finished what's going on in the dream world and how they're pretty much going to get out of it and how they got out of it. And on top of that, we also get to see a 2-for-1 when it comes down to the dream world girl kind of being. Now, she did get taken care of. And then we got to see what's his face get taken care of as well. Um, the dream girl and the guy who loves his sister. So we got a 2-for-1. Both were pretty impactful with what they were going for throughout the whole entire scene. We have the guy who never really knew anybody because he absorbs mana and magic as soon as he gets close to them. So with him about to straight up sacrifice himself, that was actually pretty crazy to think was going to happen this week. To see Henry out of all people kind of be the one that bites the dust would have been, I don't know, I feel like it would have been a little bit unsatisfying to some. Like, you introduce them just to take them out relatively quickly would have been kind of lame, in my opinion. Um, but regardless, to each their own on that. But that doesn't happen, rightfully so. See, now Asta and everybody is kind of becoming, they're kind of becoming the fairy tale of this universe, you know. They're kind of letting people get away with some things that maybe wouldn't necessarily fly in every show, right? Like, I'm pretty sure if this happens to a lot of people, they might just get taken out, right? Um, we got Henry going and absorbing elf magic, which pretty much looked like it was in a limited amount of him getting it, but the only true problem was him actually leaving the house, actually leaving the Black Bull's territory. That turned into a actual big problem and become something that if he's doing, it might actually take his life at the end of the day. So that's what really was going on there. And then you have the other fact of the matter when people are pretty much going out of their way to go and show you that regardless of what happens to some of your friends, they might end up, getting hurt even worse than they already were. And that's pretty crazy, right? Because a lot of people weren't going to get targeted probably. And then because of how things are popping off, everybody that's anybody is definitely going to get bopped. I mean, we saw it with the villagers. We saw it with multiple people getting attacked for things that they probably weren't going to, suffer for, going to be called out for. And yet they have to suffer now because of everything that's transpiring. Excuse me, everything that's transpiring from what they've done in the past, and it's coming around to bite them in the butt. These are the types of things that usually you get warned about, like, hey, if you go and try to if you go and try to please all of your uh, things that you want and get more power and get rid of the elves, there's probably going to be something to come back and bite you in the butt. We just don't know what. Um, and here's the thing about Black Clover that kind of gets me to understand even more of how they're going to pace this out. Because with one of the elves that was inside of the guy with the mirrors, for him to actually give us a kind of detailed look at who the people were that were laughing and enjoying the moment of the elf's demise to then get their power, um, it goes to say, how did they have some First of all, how did they get this device that does this, right? It was like a device that straight up absorbs magic. It's almost like it's the same thing that Henry's parents made out of a building, or if that building was just made by itself to do such a thing. But they said it specifically in his backstory, I could have sworn that they made that house to do that for him, to give him magic, to make sure it does all that. Hence why if he leaves it, he would not be gaining magic anymore, and he would be gaining way too much magic from everybody's source outside of the house, and it would take him out. It would be too much, um, and that would have been the reason why he would have died in this situation. But in another case, it feels almost as if we're just, um, we're just going to get more of an understanding of who. And I feel like we should have gotten this already with how many, else we have to be able to tell their side of the story, or at least like we saw today, show what they might have seen and show. Like for instance, this guy said he'd never forget their faces, right? So that means to me that if he was still around and he got to see one of the faces of the royals that were there, but it was a really long time ago, clearly, um, they're probably not all alive, but we all know that Noelle came out looking relatively like her mom, so there's probably some of those royals that were there that did this that probably looked just like their forefathers or their descendants and stuff like that that he would have been able to pick out. And I guess they're kind of lucky that he wasn't the one that got to do it in the end, because I mean, it's not like he had some really bent up stuff that he wanted to do. And the best part of it all was the person inside, the elf inside of the body of the human he was in, had to experience things that no human should have to experience from his own kind, where they were just kind of taking advantage of him and making his situation with his sister as worse as possible until he winds up leaving and ends up not being able to have much of anything because everything he has is going towards his sister, and everything he wants is still kind of out of his reach. So it was nice to see this, and then not only that, we got to see just what it would look like um, if Asta went against somebody with just a tremendous amount of magic, and he has this sword. We now know that his sword would be more attracted to some of the magic than actually listening to Asta and doing what he wants it to do, which I thought was actually really interesting way of giving more credence and more depth to Lich's character and his abilities slash weapons he is using. Because I mean, think about it. He has a weapon, which even the guy with the mirrors kind of chimes in on, is why does he have a weapon that not only he's the one who made the forbidden stuff, but he's made a weapon that can get rid of forbidden spells. So it's almost as if he had his own contingency plan to take care of anybody who was inside of a body. But you got to imagine that if he knew or wanted to do that, he wouldn't really need to, because think about it like this. After a while, the forbidden spell becomes not so much a spell but actual life, like they're actually taking over that person's existence, taking over where they would be. So why then would it mean that um, why would it mean that once they take over and they own that body, why would he need a sword to erase the forbidden spell when they're already taking over and a part of, if not the owner of, their new body? That was strange to me, right? Like, to hear that there's just some type of uh, weirdness going on between them and uh, Lich when it comes down to him having a way to actually almost dang near erase them if need be, right? Like that weird scapegoat of, oh, if you guys don't meet my requirements, I can always just get rid of you, so don't think I can't. That That's what it kind of felt like when we were introduced to this. Is yeah, I have the means to take you out. Just don't make me use it, you know? So we'll see how that really plays out. I mean, because at the end of the day, I feel like it's something worth looking at in the case of are they going to, ever going to explain why Lich does this? Because it's even kind of shocking to one of his, the teammates that's on his squad. He's like, why the heck is Lich, I understand that Lich was going to use it as his own weapon, but why the heck now that someone else got their hands on it, it's the ultimate weapon against us? Because remember, he couldn't even save his own friends with his weapon, let alone get rid of the forbidden spell with his old weapon. But now all of a sudden that Lich has touched his sword and then transformed it into something different and he got it back. Now it's a complete different story, and with Lich's sword, it's more attracted to magic than it is actually to just fighting with its user, which kind of either gives it a new meaning of it's alive, or it just has some type of spell cast on it to be offensive magic, or I guess it wasn't really offensive magic. He was just throwing it. He was just bouncing it all over the mirrors or all over the disco ball, so the sword would pick up on it and try to go after it. So really weird, but I definitely want to hear what you guys are thinking. We got some Rimuru that came out really, really, I guess kind of late today. Not really. But I'm going to get that out to you guys. I'm going to hop on some Soul Calibur, hop on my creative Rimuru looking character for y'all. So definitely keep your eyes and ears peeled on the channel for both of those dropping very soon here. So I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I am your boy, the Anime G, and we definitely got so much stuff to be looking forward to in Black Clover, guys. It's about to pop off super hard, and like I was saying with the whole elf seeing the people who caused the travesty, it feels like we should be getting a full-time backstory of why, what, and when this all took place. Who was the ringleader to call it out? Was the Wizard King have anything to do with this? And then on top of all of that, we'll get to see just what the heck the elves plan to do after taking all this devastating losses. And the case of they've lost, not only have they lost their life once, but now they have died twice. And Lich probably knows about most of it, seeing how he could probably sense all of them disappearing and stuff like that. So I don't know what to expect with Black Clover. That's what's beautiful about it. Expect more backstories, though. I know how you can expect that, because the way Henry showed up and he got double backstories and one back-to-back episodes. It wasn't even really that backstory on the last one. It was more of a eye-opener, if anything, to be like, hey, you got better stuff to live for, so live for it. And that was pretty awesome to see. So we'll see how all of it plays out in the end. Talk to you in the next one. Peace.